Welcome to News Unbox Updates. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Alright, let's get after it. There's a tectonic shift happening in American gun law. 7 states are about to eliminate the need for a concealed carry permit, starting January 2026. This is more than a tweak. It's a sweeping overhaul that will affect millions and spark fierce debate. Advocates call it a restoration of rights. Critics warn of public safety risks without permits, training, or background checks. Tonight we break down the facts, the arguments, and what these changes mean for you. We'll go state by state: Texas, Florida, Ohio, Georgia, Arizona, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. The clock is ticking toward January 2026. Let's dive in. First up, Texas. Known for its independent spirit and deep-rooted traditions, the Lone Star State is about to make a bold move that's sending shockwaves across the country. In January 2026, Texas will officially scrap its license to carry program. This means that any eligible adult, without a criminal record or other disqualifying factors, will be able to carry a concealed handgun in public, no permit required. The days of mandatory paperwork, waiting periods, and government-issued cards for concealed carry are coming to an end. Supporters of the new law say it's about restoring a fundamental right. They argue that law-abiding Texans shouldn't have to jump through bureaucratic hoops to protect themselves or their families. For many, this is a long overdue correction to what they see as government overreach. Under the old system, Texans had to pass background checks, submit fingerprints, and complete state-approved training courses just to carry concealed. All of those requirements will disappear for concealed carry, though federal background checks for buying a gun still apply. Law enforcement is divided. Some police leaders support the change, saying it empowers responsible citizens. Others worry that without mandatory training, more people will carry guns without understanding the laws or safe handling practices, potentially putting themselves and others at risk. Proponents counter that criminals never followed the permit process anyway. They believe the old rules only made it harder for law-abiding citizens to defend themselves, while doing little to stop those with bad intentions. But critics warn that removing training requirements could lead to more accidental shootings and escalate everyday conflicts. They point to other states with similar laws and cite increases in gun-related injuries and deaths as a cautionary tale. For Texans, this marks the beginning of a new era. Some see it as a victory for personal freedom and self-defense, while others feel a sense of uncertainty about what the future holds for public safety. As the first large state to embrace permitless carry on this scale, Texas is now the nation's biggest test case. Lawmakers, activists, and citizens across the country are watching to see what happens next. The eyes of the nation are on Texas, waiting to see if this bold experiment will become the new normal, or a cautionary lesson for others. Now, let's turn our attention to Florida, a state known for its sunshine, beaches, and vibrant culture, but also for its unique approach to gun laws. For years, Florida has stood out as a model for regulated concealed carry, requiring residents to complete training and obtain a permit before carrying a concealed weapon in public. This system, which included mandatory safety courses and background checks, was often cited as a balanced approach, protecting both individual rights and public safety. But in a dramatic policy shift, Florida will drop its permit requirement in 2026, joining a growing list of states embracing permitless carry. This move reverses decades of established policy and comes on the heels of high-profile tragedies and recent pushes for stricter gun laws. The decision has sparked intense debate, especially in a state still grappling with the aftermath of mass shootings like Parkland. With the new law, there will be no more mandatory training sessions or application fees. Supporters argue this is a victory for personal freedom and Second Amendment rights, believing that law-abiding citizens shouldn't face bureaucratic hurdles to self-defense. But critics, including many law enforcement veterans and public safety advocates, warn that eliminating training requirements could lead to more accidents and irresponsible gun use. They worry that without education on safe handling and legal responsibilities, the risks to communities could increase. For years, Florida's permit system was seen as a national standard, a way to balance the right to bear arms with the need for public safety. Classes covered not just marksmanship, but also conflict de-escalation and legal boundaries. Now the debate intensifies. Is requiring a permit an unnecessary barrier to constitutional rights, or is it a crucial safeguard that protects everyone? Both sides are passionate, and the conversation is far from over. In 2026, Florida will fully embrace permitless carry, marking a major turning point not just for the state, but for the national conversation on gun policy. The eyes of the country will be watching closely. The ripple effects of Florida's decision are likely to be felt far beyond the Sunshine State, influencing debates and legislation across the nation for years to come. Next, Ohio. Ohio already had permitless carry, but in 2026 it will drop the duty to notify police when carrying a firearm. Law enforcement wanted to keep this rule for officer safety. Gun rights advocates saw it as compelled speech. The new law means you only have to disclose you're armed if an officer asks. Supporters say this aligns Ohio with other constitutional carry states and reduces conflict. Critics argue it increases risk for police during stops. Ohio's version of constitutional carry is now among the most expansive in the country. It's a bold move with real consequences for both citizens and law enforcement. Down to Georgia. Georgia's permitless carry law, effective 2026, fulfills a major campaign promise for conservatives. The old system required a background check and a judge's approval. Now, any eligible adult can carry without a permit. The weapons carry license will still exist, for those who want reciprocity in other states. Supporters say this dual system preserves travel rights while removing barriers at home. Critics worry about untracked, untrained carriers and rising gun violence, especially in cities. The law's passage shows the power of political will in a divided state. Georgia joins the constitutional carry ranks, and the South is watching. Will it mean more freedom or more risk? Time will tell. Out west to Arizona, a state long known for its rugged landscapes and independent spirit. Here the echoes of the Old West still shape modern life, and the debate over gun rights is as lively as ever. Since 2010, Arizona has allowed permitless carry, meaning most adults could carry a concealed handgun without a permit. But starting in 2026, the state is taking things a step further, lowering the minimum age for carrying from 21 to just 18. The new law also expands the list of places where guns can be carried, making it one of the most permissive in the country. Supporters argue that if you're old enough to vote, serve in the military, or be tried as an adult, you should have the right to carry a firearm for self-defense. They see it as a matter of personal responsibility and constitutional rights, especially in a state with deep traditions of self-reliance. But critics worry about the risks. They point to research on brain development, noting that young adults are more prone to impulsive decisions and risk-taking behavior. Parents, educators, and law enforcement fear that lowering the age could lead to more accidents, heated confrontations, and even deadly violence. The law doesn't stop there. It also allows 18 to 20-year-olds to carry in bars, as long as they're not drinking, and relaxes restrictions on college campuses, sparking heated debates among students and faculty about safety and freedom. These sweeping changes are a nod to Arizona's Wild West heritage, where the frontier spirit and a belief in individual rights have always run deep. The state continues to push the boundaries of gun freedom, setting itself apart from much of the nation. For more than a decade, Arizona has served as a real-world test case for so-called constitutional carry, watched closely by both advocates and critics across the country. Now, with these new changes, the experiment is entering uncharted territory, raising new questions about the balance between liberty and public safety. As Arizona blazes a trail, the nation is left to wonder, how far can gun rights expand before safety is compromised, and who gets to decide where that line is drawn? Back east to North Carolina. After years of political struggle, North Carolina will end its pistol purchase and concealed carry permit systems in 2026. The old system relied on county sheriffs for vetting. Now, only a federal background check is required. Supporters call it a win for freedom and efficiency, removing what they see as outdated bureaucracy. Critics, especially in urban areas, warn of increased gun violence and the loss of local oversight. The state is sharply divided. Rural areas celebrate, cities worry. Gun stores expect a boom. Police and mayors brace for change. North Carolina's new law is a microcosm of the national debate. The crossroads is here: freedom or risk. Finally, Pennsylvania. In 2026, the state will drop its concealed carry permit requirement after a long political battle. Supporters say it's about consistency. Open carry was already legal, so why require a permit just to cover your gun? The jacket tax argument resonated. Why should a jacket make you a criminal? Opponents warn that losing the permit system removes a key public safety tool and makes police work harder. The law doesn't change who can own a gun, just how it's carried. Pennsylvania's diverse regions will test how this plays out in both rural and urban settings. The Keystone State becomes a national bellwether for gun law reform. 7 states, 7 major changes, and 1 national debate. The shift to constitutional carry is a profound rebalancing of liberty and security. The arguments are passionate and ongoing. Stay informed, know your rights and responsibilities. Don't rely on hearsay. Check your state's laws yourself. Ultimately, it's about responsible gun ownership, however you define it. Is this a restoration of rights or a risky gamble? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe for more updates. We'll be here, getting after it.